Good afternoon. Back in the chair here in the Red Eye Garage. Last week someone had put in a request to do just a simple video on shop supplies and things I use to work on and build these vehicles. So that's what this video is going to be, just a quick breakdown of some of the regularly consumed items here in the shop. And just so you know, I'm not fancy, I'm not brand loyal. I get stuff done with what I have. I'm very cheap. I'll reuse stuff and try to get as much life out of everything as I can. So this isn't for everyone the way I do things, and that's fine, but just showing you what I do. If you do a lot of fabrication, you know raw materials is one of the biggest expenses you're gonna have for fabrication and repair and building vehicles. It's also hard to find, so I'm thankful we have a supply shop. It's kind of like a glorified hardware store, and they get a lot of surplus items, and it's hard because their inventory changes a lot, but I'm thankful we have it. I had to do a run today and I picked up some sheet metal, so I like to use 18 gauge for as much as I can. If I'm doing tailgates and bed work and stuff, I might use 16 gauge, but for most things 18. This piece is 2 foot by 4 foot. I think I paid like 30 bucks for it. And then I have some boxing to do around the body mounts, which is a little bit more structural. So this is 16th inch, I think. It's a little thicker than 16 gauge. It's like in between 14 and 16 gauge. Just this little piece I think was like 8 bucks. So I go through a lot of sheet metal when I'm fixing holes. And then as far as roll cages and framework or any heavy fabrication of structural stuff, for that I have a guy I call that has it's a huge business. They do fabrication of oil and gas industry stuff, and it's definitely more money. So there's a couple sticks of roll cage material, but they'll order bulk industrial materials, same way the bed on my truck. I ordered all that stuff from them, but you got to order 20-foot sticks, so it definitely gets more expensive and is more of a pain to pick up. An angle iron, if I'm doing any large job, I'll get stuff from them, but I suppose that doesn't help you very much. But reach out to people in your community that have machine shops and fabrication shops and get phone numbers and find out where they're getting that stuff from. Alright, so I showed you the spot weld cutters in a previous video. I bought 2 more of them today, and remember these have 2 cutting sides per tool, so when this wears out you flip it over and you can use it again. These are $4.99 from Harbor Freight. I usually make a Harbor Freight run about once a month. I also like their cutoff wheels. These are the better quality ones, supposedly. I prefer the Vulcan ones, the cheaper ones, just because they're about $3 cheaper, and they all wear down and break anyway. For cutting, I use the 16th inch 4.5 cutoff wheels. That surplus store also sells these. I use a lot of Tolson products. I think they're super cheap. Everything they have there is pretty junky, but I just burn through these anyway, and these actually don't work too bad. I mean, they're just as good as these, but these are 99 cents a piece, or 89 cents a piece, I think. Once again, 16th inch, that's pretty much all I use, is either 16th inch or flap disc, and they have grinding wheels too. Flap discs, as you know, these can be really expensive, and these are cheapos. The Tolson, I like the 60 grit for the roughing it out, and then 120 to polish it off. And these actually last quite a while, and I think I paid $1. I paid $1.89 a piece for these. So some of these are 20 bucks. If you get a Tiger disc or DeWalt, might last a little longer, but under $2 for these, I'll burn through them pretty quick. The surplus store also has welding wire. It's about the same price at Harbor Freight, so it just depends where I'm going. I just always buy a roll of this so that I don't run out in the middle of a project. I also like Harbor Freight's gloves. They changed the look of the box, but it's the same glove. So I get these, the blue ones. They have another, I think these are like they're the darker blue. They have one that's even heavier than these. I find them, they like make my hands cramp after a while. Another consumable in the shop is welding gas, shield gas. For the MIG, I use a CO2 argon mix. I don't know what they call them, a 30-pound bottle or something. It's about 2 feet tall. They last a really long time. I use my MIG welder a lot, and I can weld for quite some time on one bottle. For the TIG welder, I use straight argon, and it burns through it quick. I would like to get a bigger bottle for that, but I really don't use the TIG welder very much, mostly MIG. And as you know, with MIG, the only consumable really is the wire and the tips, but the tips last a really long time. And then for tungsten, I use purple for everything. I guess it looks blue, but it's purple in real life. So I use the 3/32 purple for everything. So aluminum, steel, stainless, cast iron works great for all of that. Sorry, I told you this was going to be an informal video. For filler rod, for the TIG, I use Harbor Freight for a lot of it. For the like 3/32 mild steel, but they don't really have a lot of choices. So for aluminum and steel, Harbor Freight's fine. It's in a Harbor Freight too, but I order on eBay for my stainless, and there's some nickel rods and some other alloys for cast iron repairs. And then sometimes I like the 16th mild steel, like the 706. I get that at my welding supply store. So like I said, I'm not really brand loyal. I don't pick all the same things from everybody. I just get whatever's cheap and available. Another question was seam sealer. What do I use? This is one thing that I am kind of brand specific on, and I order this stuff and wait, which is not normally like me. I'll usually just grab whatever's on the shelf. Dynatron seam sealer. So there's the number. It's made by 3M, and I just like the skin time on this. It's workable, paintable. It's done well for me. I used it started using it when I did this Jeep, and that was back in 2017, and I went nuts. I sealed everything. I painted it, sealed it, and then painted it again, like primed and top coated, because I really didn't want like all the hat channels and stuff. It's a mess now, but it really held up well. And even now, with no maintenance and getting driven in all different kinds of weather, and I know this thing has been flexed like crazy, where you can see big gaps and stuff because of wheeling with it and stuff. So this is my go-to for seam sealing. I used it on all my builds, and I just got another tube because I got to seal the floor seams in the FC. You do want to be careful if you seal things too much in one spot but not enough in another. You'll get water trapped between layers, and then the air is going to get in there somehow, and you're going to end up having rust. So a lot of times I'll just seal one side and then leave the other side open, but this isn't an auto body tech video, but you know what I mean. So that's the stuff. I'll put links to everything everything I order online. I'll put links in the description. So I wasn't sure if there's anything else you wanted to see, but that's kind of what I use on a weekly basis around here. For hardware, I go to Rural King usually and just buy it by the pound, and I kind of get everything from like 1/4 inch up to 5/8 and just grab handfuls. I do not have a very organized bolt bin. The kids make fun of me because when I'm like, oh, I need a bolt, it often takes me way longer than it should. At the end of my life, if I had every minute back that I've spent looking for a washer or a bolt, I'd probably be have a lot of extra days. So that's on my to-do list. I want to get a bolt bin and get a little more organized there, but definitely buy it by the pound in bulk. You'll save a lot of money. So I hope that answers some of your questions. Please ask more questions. I like doing these types of videos where I can give you something that you want to see. So I thank you for watching, and more work to come on the FC. Catch you later.